I'm right here.
Okay, he's there, and my father's here. We've got Todd on the scoreboard, so that's all set.
Also, every member of Livingston on the scoreboard, just back you up.
And we are live.
Okay.
Very
And TJ, you have a substitute? Okay, I'll be sure to ask for that as we move along. Okay, all right, good luck to both teams. Let's begin. Want to buzzer check real fast on TJ? And Lee. Good, okay. Okay, again, silence, please, during the match. If you're coming in and out with the awards, just try and keep the door when it closes as quiet as possible, just like that. Okay, good luck to teams. Toss-up 1. Members of this class established the Agrarian League to combat tariff reductions on grain imports, often centered around estates in East Elvia.
Junkers
Is correct for 10. Toss-up 2. This movement was sparked by the criticism of Samuel Benton, a leader of Granville County, in George Sinn's Nutbush Address, which criticized high taxes and corrupt officials who embezzled colonial funds.
The regulators
Is correct for 10. Toss-up 3. A song about the conflict, known by this term, calls the opposing side plunderers, torturers of people, and is titled The Sacred War. Victory won.
The Great Patriotic War.
That is good for 10. Toss-up 4. This person served as Secretary of National Defense during the presidency of Manuel Ávila Camacho. The IPN was a national polytechnic institute created during this person's tenure as president. 45 million acres of land were redistributed during the rule of this president, whose tenure coincided with the end of the Maximato. And this president's administration is correct for 10. Toss-up 5. A dissertation that this author wrote while attending Trinity College eventually was expanded into the work The Growth of Plato's Ideal Theory. A waxing and waning moon and a serpent that sheds its skin are among the categories of tales that this man examined across societies in a book by this man subtitled A Study in Magic and Religion.
Malinowski.
Yeah, which is named for an object from Aeneid. For 10 points, name the sociologist who wrote a study of magic and religion called The Golden Bough. Is correct. Toss-up 6. According to Bouvier myth, this figure married the daughter of the Dragon King, becoming the ancestor of humanity. After being born, this figure grew 10 feet every day. Is correct. 10. Toss-up 7. The 4 Dawes brothers, including the namesake of the Dawes clan, were all born in this city and enriched by a namesake oil boom. The Putnam Street Bridge connected this city to Fort Harmer as the earliest free crossing on the Muskingum River. This city lends its name to a set of Hopewell-style earthworks, and this earliest settlement in the Northwest Territory was named to honor French assistance in the American Revolution. For 10 points, identify.
Friendship.
Nope, identify this Ohio city named for the wife of Louis XVI.
Marietta.
Is correct.
Nice.
Yes, figured it out. Toss-up 8. Wait for the door to shut. Toss-up. This person is known for having an influence on Irving Kahn, who named a son after this person. This person coined terms such as margin of safety and Mr. Market in one work, and this person, who was known for advocating index funds, also had a strong influence on Charlie Munger.
Graham?
No, yes, is correct. Benjamin Graham. Yes, good for 10. Toss-up 9. Tied at 40. Members of this nation attacked the 478th Civil Affairs Battalion using hand-thrown projectiles such as water balloons. This nation was founded by Mayor Dennis Wardlow, who claimed the people of this nation would have, quote, seceded where others had failed. The prime minister of this nation declared war against the United States shortly after inauguration by breaking a loaf of Cuban bread, and this nation attempted to annex the 7-mile bridge and forcibly reopen Dry Tortugas National Park. For 10 points, identify this. Is correct for 10, yes. Toss 10. One person with this surname served as chair of the Atomic Energy Commission before becoming Secretary of Defense in 1973. The term imperial presidency was popularized by a person.
Schlesinger?
Is correct for 10. Out of 50. This ruler dispatched the general Zhang Fu to conquer the Ho dynasty, leading to the annexation of Vietnam as Jiaoxi province. This ruler aimed to compile knowledge in a namesake encyclopedia, and during the Jingnan Rebellion, this ruler seized the throne from the Jianwen emperor. This emperor moved.
Like Wang Ha.
Say it again.
Wang Ha.
No. This emperor moved the imperial capital to Beijing and initiated the construction of the Forbidden City. For 10 points, in his third emperor of the Ming Dynasty, who sponsored the voyages of explorer Zheng He.
Yongle.
That's correct. Last toss of the quarter, number 12. Stesagoras was the predecessor of this politician as tyrant of the Chersonese. This politician was named after champion at Olympic chariot racing, and a son of this politician rose to prominence for his actions at the Battle of Salamis. Caimon, or Sigemon, was a son of this politician who was elected strategoi in 490 BCE, in which capacity this leader helped defeat Achaemenid forces during the invasion of Greece. For 10 points, named this Athenian statesman, best known for leading the victorious forces at the battle. No, you're leading the victorious forces at the Battle of Marathon.
Miltiades.
It's Miltiades. You put one syllable in there too many. Okay, so the game is a 10-pointer after quarter one, 60 to 50. Okay, so TJ is doing the substitution. Okay. All good? Scores? All right. 60 to 50 as we begin the second quarter. Good luck, teams. Off we go. Toss up. This memo is called the most influential Southerner in Congress between Calhoun and Lyndon Johnson. During World War II, the press referred to this New Deal advocate as the assistant president for leading the Office of War Mobilization. This politician was named Times Man of the Year in 1946 after rejecting the Morgenthau Plan, and this person headed the Office of Economic Stabilization after serving the shortest Supreme Court tenure in history. For 10 points, identify this post-war Secretary of State and Governor of South Carolina.
Burns.
Is just getting it in. And your bonus, Burns was preceded as Secretary of State by this former chair of U.S. Steel and administrator of the Lend-Lease program, who resigned as secretary to become the first U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. Is correct for 10. Toss 2. This leader sent a eunuch to teach Greek letters and etiquette to her son's Frankish betrothed, Rotruda, in 781.
Irene of Athens.
Is correct for 10. Your bonus, Irene's original husband, Leo IV, was a vocal supporter of this Byzantine movement, which aimed to destroy religious imagery as idolatrous.
Iconoclasm, right?
Yeah, that's fine. Toss 3. The overthrow of this leader began an era known as the infamous decade.
Ferdinand VII?
No. This leader who led failed 1893 and 1905 revolutions to overthrow the regimes of Julio Roca's National Autonomous was finally elected president following the passage of the Sáenz-Peña Law. This president served 2 terms, which were interrupted by the Marcelo de Alvear administration and ended with José Uriburu's rebellion. For 10 points, name this first democratically elected president of Argentina. Is correct. Your bonus, Irigoyen was buried at La Recoleta Cemetery in Buenos Aires, the resting place of this president of Argentina from 1983 to 89, who served as the first democratically elected president after the post-Perón national reorganization process. This is Raúl Alfonsín. Okay. Item 80, toss 4. In this event, the correct squawk code was given and the signal request radiation assigned was pushed 22 times. The Fogarty report studied this event, which involved a robo-cruiser deploying the Aegis system under William Rogers. Ronald Reagan declared a written note to be an apology in this.
Able Archer 83.
Nope, to be an apology in this event, which was the deadliest disaster of its type until Malaysia Airlines Flight 17 was downed. For 10 points, identify this 1988 event, which involved an aircraft flying from Tehran to Dubai being mistakenly destroyed by the USS Vincennes. Time, I called it. This is the shoot down of Iran Air Flight 655. Cost 5. The antagonist of this poem is defeated after being caught menstruating, inspiring her enemy to guard her retreat in an act of mercy. After forcing the pregnant goddess Macha into a foot race, a city in this poem is cursed to have all of its men afflicted with pangs of childbirth.
Abenusian?
No, it's Hour of Need. The events of this poem are sparked by a dispute between King Ailidu and his wife over who is wealthier. For 10 points, identify this Irish epic that depicts the victory of Cuchulainn over Queen May.
Bolster cycle?
This is the Tane. I could have also taken the Calorane of Cooley. Toss 6. Disgruntled members of one of these organizations formed the Confrérie Pictura. Rogier van der Weyden depicted the patron saint of one of these organizations making a drawing of the Virgin Mary. One of these organizations, named for St. Luke, admitted Judith Leister in Haarlem. One member of these organizations, Willem van Duyenberg, is a central figure in a painting that was once hung in a Stadthof and depicts a group of syndics.
A guild?
Just a guild is all we needed. And your bonus. In the Netherlands, guilds held significant influence under local government officials, such as the holder of this title, which is roughly synonymous with mayor. This title was once held by Frans Manning Koch, the central subject of Rembrandt's The Night Watch. Answer?
Shopholder?
This is Burgomaster, or Burgomaster, or Meister, or something. Anything along those lines. Toss-up 7. Authorities created a police force called the Specials to combat this event, which culminated in violence on Bloody Saturday. This event began when building and metal trades workers walked off their jobs, with approximately 30,000 workers participating. The Citizens Committee of 1000 opposed this 1919 labor action and published a newspaper that called organizers.
The general strike in Seattle?
No, that called organizers alien scum. For 10 points, name this 6-week Canadian labor protest, one of North America's largest general strikes.
The Winnipeg General Strike.
That is correct, yes. And your bonus, in another act of defiance, impoverished Canadians who were feeling the squeeze of the Great Depression created these alliterative horse-drawn automobiles, which were named after the Prime Minister they blamed for their economic hardship.
Like, there's some.
Answer?
Carriages.
These are Bennett buggies. Toss 8. This opera inspired Letitia Elizabeth Landon's poem, Fenella's Escape. Audience members allegedly walked out during this opera's duet, Amour Sacré de la Patrie, which took place during a festival celebrating King William I's 15th year of rule. This opera's
The Mute Girl of Portici.
That is correct. Your bonus, one of the characters in The Mute Girl of Portici is the fisherman Masaniello, who led a 1647 revolt in this Italian city against the Habsburgs.
Naples.
Is correct for 10. Back to Livingston, toss-up 9. This person was the only Democratic senator to not vote for the Dodd-Frank Act, and this politician was also the only senator to vote against the Patriot Act. This is correct. Your bonus, Feingold lost his seat to Republican Ron John in 2011, who has been joined in the Senate by this Democrat who replaced the retiring Herb Cole, becoming the first woman elected from Wisconsin and the first openly LGBT senator. Is correct. Tie game at 110 as we move into toss-up 10, the last quarter. Toss-up. During this event, prisoners were freed from Newgate Prison before it was burned, and this event included attacks on the homes of Lord Chief Justice Mansfield and the Earl of Sandwich. King George III personally ordered troops to fire on rioters.
The Gordon Riots?
He's correct. In your bonus, during the Gordon Riots, soldiers were stationed at this major institution, which was founded in 1694 and is known as the Old Lady of Threadneedle Street.
I'd say the O.
Answer?
Jail.
This is the Bank of England.
Oh, wow.
It is a 10-point game, but those are 10 important points, as it will mean that the first pick in the 62nd rounds will go to Thomas Jefferson. You can substitute if you wish. Okay? Okay, no? Then let me reveal the categories. We have Hawaii, the Counter-Reformation, and Afghanistan. Hawaii, the Counter-Reformation, and then Afghanistan.
Counter-Reformation.
Counter-Reformation and Italy, okay. Okay, Counter-Reformation is the category. All of these begin with the set phrase concerning the Counter-Reformation, leading the ... and I say go, he'll start it. Okay, good luck with the Counter-Reformation. Concerning the Counter-Reformation, name the go. Title held by Paul III, the first leader.
Pope.
Yes. The German monk who started the Protestant Reformation, the Fabian Luther. Yes. The term for the Catholic judicial process of combating heresy, the Spanish example of which was notably.
Inquisition.
Yes. The given name of two Catholic monarchs, one of whom was Queen of Scots and one who Was
Mary.
Yes. The English statesman and saint was beheaded in 1535 for refusing to accept the king as head of the Church of England.
Thomas More.
Is correct. The Ecumenical Council held in northern Italy from 1545 to 1560.
Trent.
Yep. The Spanish city in Castile and Leon, where Francisco Suarez led a namesake school of scholastic philosophy.
Burgos.
No. And the mystic nun who reformed the Carmelite order and wrote The Interior Castle and the Way of Perfection.
Sure. St. Catherine.
No. Okay, so you got the first 6 for 60, and we'll turn 2 over to Livingston. Okay, concerning the Counter-Reformation, name the Spanish city in Castile and Leon, where Francisco Suarez led a namesake school of scholastic philosophy.
Salamanca.
Is correct for 10. And the mystic nun who reformed the Carmelite order and wrote The Interior Castle and the Way of Perfection.
Teresa of Avila.
Is correct as well. Picking up both of them on the bounce back. Okay, so plot thickens. And Afghanistan or Hawaii?
Okay, hold on. How much do you listen to patient? Who's the French? Who's that? Okay. I know the first Afghanistan.
Afghanistan it will be. Okay. All right, all of these begin with the set phrase concerning the history of Afghanistan. Name the dot left. Okay? Good luck. Same as always. Okay. Concerning the history of Afghanistan, name the go. Terrorist attack in New York City that sparked an American invasion of Afghanistan in 2001.
9/11.
Sure. The natural material, naming a trading road that connected Afghanistan to Eastern China and
Silk.
Yes. The jihadist group that ruled Afghanistan from 1996 to 2001 and again since 2021.
Taliban.
Yep. The city that has been the capital since it was moved from Kandahar in 1776.
Kabul.
Yep. The empire that fought with the UK for influence over Afghanistan in the 19th century Great Game.
Just Russia.
Yes. The primary city of Western Afghanistan, the 1856 capture of which led to the Anglo-Persian War.
Okay, hold on. I think it's Herat. It is. Herat.
Is correct. The Iranic ethnic group, most of whom lived in Pakistan, who were known as Afghans until 1964.
Pashtun, yeah. Pashtun.
Is correct. And the father of modern Afghanistan, whose eponymous empire ruled until 1823.
Ahmad Shah Durrani.
Sweet. With the 20-point bonus. And the lead down to Livingston, 230-180. Okay, scores check. All right, 12 toss-ups remain. Good luck, teams. Away we go. Luck, number 1. In Systems of Survival, this thinker described conflicting moral syndromes named for guardians and commerce. In 1979, this thinker argued for Quebec independence in a Massey lecture that was later turned into the book, The Question of Separatism. While advocating for preserving Greenwich Village, this thinker claimed that the urban renewal and slum clearance policies of Robert Moses were
Jacobs.
is good for 20.
Nice.
Toss it 2. The orator of this speech claimed we will be able to overcome in the future by a superior mechanical force. It wasn't given by a British politician, but the radio services of the BBC broadcast this speech, which
Dual voice broadcast.
which was less widely heard than a similar speech delivered 4 days later. Georges Mathieu designed a postage stamp to commemorate the 70th anniversary of this 1940 speech, which is often seen as the inspiration of the French Resistance. For 10 points, name this speech given by Charles de Gaulle on a certain day.
June 10th speech.
This is the appeal of 18th June. 18th June. Toss-up 3. Following the death of Francisco Ferrer, this person was made Captain General of the city of Barcelona in October 1909. This soldier, who was a colonel under Arsenio Martinez Campos during the 10 Years' War, adopted a policy regarding reconcentrados that is thought to have resulted.
The butcher.
No, that is thought to have resulted in hundreds of thousands of deaths on one island. Under Alfonso XIII, this person served as Governor General of Cuba from 1896 to 1897. For 10 points, named as administrator during the Spanish-American War, nicknamed the Butcher.
Valeriano Whaler.
That's correct. You can certainly protest. Yep. Can you run that protest?
Well, protest is the result of anything on that.
Yeah.
That sucks. That makes sense.
Right.
So Valeriano Whaler. So their TJ is protesting that they should have been prompted.
Question number?
This is question number 3. Just so teams are aware, the procedure, it should have been prompted. Case is a toss out the question. Can we read it? Okay. Just read it in the back of the question.
This is yeah, doing Varsity. That is what the student was at first. They were not prompted. They should have been prompted is the ruling.
Okay, so we will toss that question out and replace it. Both teams are eligible to play on this toss-up. This is the new question number 3 of the quarter. This leader stepped down as party chair after chosen successor Annegret Kramp-Karrenbauer, or AKK, resigned in 2020. During this leader's tenure, one country opened borders to Syrian refugees and phased out nuclear power after the Fukushima incident as part of the Energiewende policy. Known as Mutti, this former scientist and leader from East Germany served in one post for 16 years before being succeeded by is just good for 10. Yep. Back to the usual question 4. Need is 60. Coming in, close the door, please. Coming in, close the door, please. We're in the middle of the match. Come in or come out, but you gotta close the door. Plus 4. Folks, please close the door. Toss of 4. The town of Oderzo was raised during this conflict following the Battle of Carnuntum, after which relief effort by Titus Furius Victorinus was quashed. This conflict involved the Sarmatian Yazidis tribe who killed
The Marcomannic War.
is correct for 20. Toss of 5. This politician was nominated by Bill Clinton to be an ambassador to China, but was blocked due to opposition from Jesse Helms and Edwin Meese. This politician challenged John Kerry in the 1996 Senate election for his seat, and this politician was the only person to win a delegate in the 2020 Republican presidential.
Well,
30.
nice.
7 questions to go. The lead is 50. 6. In 2018, this group began receiving support from the Wagner Group in exchange for granting Russia access to a certain country's gold deposits. This group has carried out the ongoing
The Rapid Support Forces.
30. Is 80, halfway through the quarter. 7. A never-removed bullet wound was received by Joshua Barney during this battle, in which he led 480 troops that engaged in hand-to-hand fighting. A nephew of Levin Winder, named William, was the commander.
Bladensburg.
30. Toss B. One member of this family by marriage was the sister of Robert Gould Shaw and the first woman to hold public office in New York City. And another member of this family was a U.S. ambassador to Spain and wrote the Bigelow Papers and a Fable for Critics before becoming the first editor of the Atlantic Monthly. A member of this family, Francis Cabot, named a textile town established by the Boston Associates in Middlesex.
Lowell.
Good for 10.
Nice.
4 questions to go. Lead is 60, toss up 9. This person wrote Through the Caucasus to the Volga, which was inspired by travels to Armenia. Observations made by this explorer provided data for the development of the concept of the Ekman spiral. During the 1920s and 30s, an international office for refugees named for this.
Manson.
20.
Nice.
It's 40, 3 to play. 10. This figure fought against the Bolsheviks in the Soviet Union after his father, an Orthodox priest, was recalled from the United States, and this white Russian was one of the few to live to see the fall of the Berlin Wall. This American intelligence officer headed a mission to investigate German nuclear capabilities, and this person led the exploratory Alsos mission. For 10 points, identify this officer who reported that Oppenheimer may still be connected with the communist.
Cash.
10. The lead is 30 with 2 to play. Toss-up 11. This figure is associated with a golden kite, which is said to have landed on a bow called a kinshikyu. A holiday known as Kigensetsu honors the ascension of this figure on February 11th. This figure is said to have led an eastern expedition which captured the city of Yamato, and this figure whose rule is preceded by the age of the gods is
Jimbo.
20. 12. This house merged with the Saxe-Coburg line through the marriage of Maria II to Ferdinand II. This dynasty established its colonial capital at Rio de Janeiro after fleeing 30-10. What a match! Livingston High School! 3-time defending national champion! Varsity national basketball! Congratulations! Fantastic play all around. Final score 360-280. All right, fantastic. Wow. Okay, if teams don't mind just taking a seat real quick in the front row, we've got a number of awards to announce. I want to make sure that we get everybody who may have been waiting outside in here. We'll bring you back up in just a second.